All right, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai. All praise unto Yahweh, Shimi Shai, Wahar Rakak Kadash. Double honor unto the apostles of Great Millstone. Honor she brothers up, be pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay, so back out here again, you know, through the spirit and the mercy of Yahweh, Shimi Shai. Okay, to push this word, okay, to get into the scriptures. Okay, it's a sunny day out here, so you're gonna have a lot more people than usual. Okay, so Lord's will get into some teachings, get into the scriptures, get into the edifying, and hopefully the word of the Most High is furthered. Okay, so pretty much you got a lot of things happening within the world right now. Okay, leading towards what's known as the last days. Okay, the end times. Okay, the day of the Lord's return, the time of the Lord's return, and all of these things are in accordance to prophecy. Okay, when you check out what was mentioned within the scriptures, okay, about what was going to happen in the last days, then you find out what's happening right now. Okay, with the earthquakes all over there within all over the world. Really, you got earthquakes happening. Okay, with the rumors of wars, the talks of wars. All of these things were what? They was talked about within the scriptures as the times of the end. Okay, and we also know that was going to be speaking about the when the end was going to come. Okay, the end of Esau's empire, because a lot of people think about the end of the world, and when you go into the scriptures, you find out that the world, okay, the foundations of the world standing for forever. Okay, you find out that the earth itself is going to be forever. Okay, ain't going to be no meteorite that's going to come and destroy the whole inhabitants of the world and everything's just going to be extinct. That's not within the scriptures. That's not part of the scrolls. That's not part of the algorithm. Okay, but what you're going to find out was that you had different ages. Okay, different time spans and periods. Okay, where you had it where the Medo-Persians ruled and they ruled under wickedness, and the Most High took them out. Okay, the Babylonians ruled before the Medo-Persians, and they ruled in wickedness, and they had their time, and guess what? After their time was done, the Most High rose up another empire in their stead. The same thing applies to Esau, who's in the rulership of the world right now. We get a precept to prove that. Okay, the same thing applies to Esau right now, who is in rulership of the world right now. Okay, but the fact of the matter is that his age is going to come to a close. Matter of fact, when you go into the scriptures talks about how the Most High has set up the bounds, okay, and he set it up to where what? He's got a certain amount of time, which we're getting into that last time, okay, that 400 years that he was going to rule, and he was going to have it to where the 12 tribes of Israel was going to get turned back onto their power, which is Yahweh, and in effect, and in so doing, they was going to be raised up out of the earth, and they was going to be the new rulers, okay, but the Most High set the bounds of that, okay, he's trying to exceed that, and when you watch these movies, you pretty much see that they're trying to go beyond, okay, what the Lord has, the time span that the Lord has given them to be powerful. Okay, when you watch their movies, that you don't see no, unless you're watching Planet of the Apes or something, you don't watch no movies where you see some jakes, okay, ruling in the world, which is what's spoken about within the scriptures. Okay, what you see is Esau out there with some AI, okay, pushing forth an artificial lifestyle, okay, and then just forever ruling and ruining the whole planet. Okay, when you see these so-called post-apocalyptic movies, that's what you see, a ruined planet. Okay, and you might have some, technological utopia out there somewhere. That's what they showed you on that movie, Altered Carbon. Okay, you had some technological utopia somewhere, okay, which was out there within the heavens or something. Okay, and then the rest of the world was what? Was just dirt. But see, when you go into the scriptures and you find out what the Most High is fitting to establish through the men of the Lord, okay, the 12 tribes of Israel, okay, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, you find out the whole world was going to be at peace. We're going to see that within the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter. Okay, you find out the whole world was going to be at peace. You find out that the animals was going to be at peace, the trees, the air was going to be clean, the water was going to be clean, everything was going to be right. Okay, so let's get into the scriptures here. Book of Job, the 9th chapter on the 24th verse. It says, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Now, when we say who the wicked are and what's wicked and this, that, and the third, we ain't talking about someone that don't let you on the bus first, okay, or someone that cuts in line. That's not wickedness, okay? Now, is it nice? No, it's not nice, okay? You probably feel some type of way about that, but the fact of the matter is, when you go into the scriptures, you got it to where you got laws, statutes, commandments established. And when you got wickedness and righteousness, you got it to where the people that are known as the wicked are the ones that promote what's known as going against the ordinances of the Most High, going back all the way on to Cain, of which the Most High had set it up where you had an oral law, okay, and he tried to sacrifice what? The fruits. So he broke the commandments. He was the wicked. Same thing when you had it to where Esau came about on the scene, and ultimately the whole nation of the Edomites came on the scene. What do they promote? They don't promote the Lord's statutes, commandments of the Most High. You go to where you got McDonald's over there selling you pork, okay, and they advertise that on the TV for your kids to grow up in an environment where they what? They're lusting after those different things. Okay, they promote adultery, they promote idolatry. You got Christmas, Easter, all of those things ain't spoken about within the scriptures. So when we're talking about the wicked, we're talking about the nation, the group of people that promote everything that's anti-Messiah, man, the Antichrist. Okay, they promote all of that that's against the Most High. Okay, like I said, idolatry, that's a big thing within this society. You got a whole heap of people out there that's going to go out there and celebrate Easter. Okay, that celebrated Easter when Easter came around. You got a whole host of people out there that's going to celebrate Christmas when that whole thing comes around. Okay, and they might call themselves by the other religions of the world like Hinduism, and Buddhism, and Muslim, but they all still go out there and worship what? The idols of Esau and the festivals of Easter. And which, when you check out the word holy day, you find out that a holiday, okay, goes back onto holy day, okay, because when you had a particular religious calendar set up within the ancient world, okay, those higher holy days will be times of rest, okay, times of feasting. You go into our laws and you go into our statutes. What you find out? You find out during the days of Passover, that's a higher holy day and a high holy week, okay, but the Passover itself was what? That was a day. That was a day you was going to take time off of work and so on and so forth. So when you go Christmas and shops is closed and so on and so forth, that's the holy days of this empire. Okay, which goes to show you that the wicked are in rulership. Now let's check that within the scriptures. Let's expound upon that in terms of the history. Going into the book of Maccabees, the 1st chapter, and I'll start from the top. It says, and it happened, Alexander, okay, the son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius the Persian. And we go into the history, you find out that what? That the Babylonians ruling for a certain amount of time after the Assyrians, and they carried away the children of Israel out there into the captivity, into the land of Babylon. Okay, then you had it where the Medo-Persians was raised up, and they took down the Babylonians. This is where a lot of confusion between history and prophecy comes into play, because you read the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, which I might get a little bit later on, and you read it, and it's speaking about the Medo-Persians coming up against Babylon. But hold on a minute, a whole heap of those prophecies didn't come to pass when Babylon was taken down in the time of the Medo-Persians. Okay, so after the Medo-Persians, you had it where the Greeks was raised up. Now this is the time when you had it where Esau came into that power, and then they was ruling, and they was ruling diverse from any other empire as spoken about within the book of Daniel. Okay, because they had it where they had set up senates and when you had other empires before that, you had dictators, man. Okay, Tiglath-Pileser III, dictator. Okay, King David, dictator. Okay, Nebuchadnezzar, dictator. In other words, what they said goes. Now, when you had the so-called Greek Empire and the Romans come up into the scene, now you had it to where Alexander was in rulership. But after that, when you had the Romans set up, they had a whole different way of doing things. Okay, and through that democracy, they was going to deceive people. And that's when you go to out here. That's why you go to the book of Jeremiah, the 50th chapter. It talks about how through wine, okay, philosophies, thinking that you have the ability to make change in terms of policy, okay, they was going to deceive the world. Because you got people out here that are going to go out there and they're going to vote, okay, thinking that, the new politician that's going to go up there into the office is going to change life for them. Matter of fact, they ain't going to change life for them. Okay, the agenda, which is to set up a so-called New World Order, is going to be established. And that all goes back onto Rome, that goes back onto the Greeks, because since then, they've been trying to put this whole thing together, because they know they're the Edomites, and they know through the scriptures and through the prophecies, because they do the studying, okay, that they was going to be destroyed from off the face of the earth. Matter of fact, when you go into the book of Revelations, the 12th chapter, okay, you find out that when the man of the Lord was going to raise up in the last days, Esau was going to come down having great wrath. Because why? Because he knew he had a short time. Okay, because when the prophets of the Lord was going to be set up on the scene like you see out here, okay, you see all over the world, you see men coming out here wearing the garments, going into the scriptures, going into the understanding of the Bible, okay, with passion and zeal, okay, they was going to come down having a wrath, because when you go into the scriptures and you find out how these different empires were destroyed and how you had it to where the prophets were on the scene before the empire was destroyed, okay, you can put two and two together that when in this empire, when you was going to have the prophets set up and they was going to teach, you can come to the conclusion that what? Those was going to be the last days of that empire. Okay, so they was going to go hard to try and stop that word from coming out. Okay, Revelations 12 and 12 says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, ye that dwell in them, woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down unto you having great wrath. Okay, so that's how Esau's going to come. He's going to come down having great wrath. Because what? Because he knoweth he has a short time. Okay, Mosai set up his bounds. Okay, he had an empire that ruled in wickedness. The Lord said, look, you was going to rule from this point to that point. After that, okay, you was going to be removed. And the Lord was going to set up what? He was going to set up the righteous rulership upon the earth. That's within the book of Daniel, the 2nd chapter on the 44th verse, which I'm going to get in a second. Okay, it said he made many wars. This is Maccabees 1 and 2. And he made many wars and won many strongholds and slew many kings. Because by the sword was Esau going to live. And that's what they're doing out here right now. That's how you know that's how you know that these what you know as America, NATO, that's the ancient Greek and Roman Empire coming back into play. Because when the ancient Greeks and the Romans were on the scene, what did they do? They was slaying kings. Okay, they was destroying empires, destroying strongholds, man. Okay, you had it to where Jerusalem was a vassal state underneath who? Underneath the Ptolemies at some point, and underneath the Seleucid empires at some point. And then ultimately when Julius Caesar and Pompey came on the scene, okay, you had it to where Jerusalem became a vassal underneath the Romans. Because it's beneficial to have it to where Jerusalem is a vassal state. If you ain't got it to where they're a vassal state to you, they're going to be grieving you, man. Because you had it to where was it Julius Caesar? He might be going out there to war with the Parthians or something like that, or the Scythians, okay? And then Jake, the Israelites, who if they were a vassal state, they would side with the Scythians or whatever. They was gonna make it a tough time to subdue that nation. Okay, so you know Jerusalem was under siege. Underneath it was a vassal state to the Roman Empire at some point. Okay, after a certain point, that's going into going into the times when the Lord came on the scene. That's when it became like a vassal state. Okay, you go into the history of Jonah Arcanius II and so on and so forth. Okay, you can find out about all of that. But going back onto the point, okay, which is that what when you had it to where the Greeks and the Romans were on the scene, they was taking down nations, man. Okay. They expanded what the because what you had was when Babylon was set up upon the scene, they had what? They had an empire, okay, which they when they started ruling, they had their empire spread. Same thing with the Medo-Persians, they spread it out, and it peaked when the Romans came up on the scene. But to maintain that, you have to do what? You have to go out there and war. So it makes sense that the largest empire was also going to be ruled by the greatest sword, which was what? Or which is the blessing that Esau had gotten when you go back onto the book of Genesis, the 27th chapter. But guess what? By the sword was Esau going to live, and by the sword was he going to be destroyed, man. Okay? So going back onto the scriptures here, it says here, I made many wars and won many strongholds and slew kings of the earth. That's where you go right. Okay, that's why they're out there in Syria trying to take Assad out, because they're trying to take that land. That's what they was out there in Afghanistan, okay, taking down who was it? Saddam Hussein, okay? Was that Iraq? Okay, that's why they was out there in those particular countries. Because why? Because they wanted those lands. That's how you spread their empire. But when you watch on the news, they'll tell you that it's, he's got weapons of mass destruction, or Assad, he's got chemical weapons, okay, fighting up against these people. That's what you know as lies and deceit, man. Okay, that's to get what? That's to get the people on side, so the agenda of the elites can be fulfilled. Okay, which is what? To rule and control every resource upon the earth, including you people. Which is where the RFID chip comes into, which is known as the mark of the beast within the scriptures. Okay, so now let's go on to down to the point here. This is the book of Maccabees, the 1st chapter and the 7th verse. It says, so Alexander reigned 12 years, and then he died, and his servants bare rule everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons many years after them, and evils were multiplied upon the earth. So when you had it to where they set up a dynasty, okay, you had it to where you had 4 generals, okay, Ptolemy, Seleucid, and I forget the other 2 always, because they weren't really, when you go into the history of Jerusalem during about that time, the time of the Maccabees, you're really dealing with the Seleucid Empire and the Ptolemaic Empire. Okay, I forget the other 2. Okay, so when they set up kingdoms, and one was ruling out there in Egypt, and the other one was ruling in Syria, okay, and that particular region, you had it to where you had a lot of evils that were multiplied when their sons became what? They set up dynasties, man. Okay, but through those dynasties, they furthered their agenda of wickedness. That's where you go into the history. You find out about about the Israelites and how they was being Hellenized and so on and so forth, man. Okay, that's a lot of wickedness a person's gonna do, to go into another people's nation and give them new gods, new holy days. Okay, force them to eat food that's against their customs. That's wickedness. But really, on a grander scale, the whole thing of being Greek, that was pushed out throughout the 4 corners of the earth. Okay, and that's the same thing. You go out here within the world, what are they pushing? They're pushing forth the way of the American lifestyle. But the way of the American lifestyle ain't a good thing. Okay, it brings forth death, because when you go into the scriptures, it says what? It says that sin is the transgression of the law. Okay, and the wages of sin is death. That's why when you go into the book of Amos, the 9th chapter, which I can get right here. Okay, Amos, the 9th chapter.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man? You okay?
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Okay, when you go into the book of Amos, the 9th chapter, you find out that what? Okay, that the eyes of the Lord power upon the sinful kingdom, and he was going to destroy it from off the face of the earth. Amos, the 9th chapter, on the 8th verse. Behold, the eyes of the Lord power upon the sinful kingdom. We're living in that sinful kingdom, man. This is the sinful empire that was prophesied to come up and rise out of the earth and rule the nations in anger. As we're going to see within the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter. One of my favorite scriptures right now. Because we're living in that time when Esau's wickedness, Esau's nature, okay, and his inherent desire to rule and control everything, okay, by way of the sword, okay, of which every man wants to rule everything, but the way he's going about it in terms of the sword, lies and deceit, okay, the way he's going about it, okay, is he's going about it in wickedness, with guile and deceit, and he's making the people believe something else that's not true, okay. Of which he's one of the main things that he's pushing out there is he pushed out there that the Amalekites out there within the land of Israel, they're the real Jews. And that's one of the biggest lies. And when you go into the book of Job, the 9th chapter, on the 24th verse, which I'm holding here, it says that. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof, if not wherein. Who is he? Okay? And that goes into the fact that when you go into the curses that was put on the 12 tribes of Israel, okay, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and all of the Israelites scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, you find out one of the curses that came upon them was that they was going to lose their heritage. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, the 14th chapter. Was it 17 and 4? Okay, that was one of the curses. So now you go to where these so-called Jews are in the land of Israel right now, calling themselves Jews. Well, that's part of the fulfillment of that curse. Okay, but it's a big, it's all a big lie. Okay, and in the portion of the word, okay, you was gonna have it to where that lie was gonna be destroyed, man. Okay, and people was gonna wake up to what? That this man is not only if you go to where you got the Amalekites out there calling themselves the real Jews of the Most High, the people of the Most High's blessing, okay, and they ain't the people of the Most High's blessing, then you ask, okay, why is it, what else have they lied about? And you find out they lied about how they run the government. They have you believe you got politicians out there, but they got a thing called a shadow government. They'll have you believe out there that Assad is this big criminal, and they're out there killing more babies than Assad's killing, man. Okay, all in the intent of doing what? Controlling and having everything underneath their thumb. Okay, so now let's go to the book of Jeremiah, the 17th chapter and the 4th verse, because I quoted it. It says, "Thou shalt and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage." This is talking about the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. That's why you can ask, you ask these guys out there in the Arab world. You ask them what nation, biblical nations that they come from. They'll let you know that they're Arabs. Okay, they'll not the Arabs, so they'll let you know that they're the Ishmaelites. They know that. Okay, you go out there to certain parts of Africa, they'll let you know they're Hamites or Canaanites, man. They know who they are. But when you start dealing with Jacob and Esau, there's this big veil that's been put upon the people. Okay. But in this truth coming out, this veil was going to be removed. Okay, let's go to another precept real quick. I'll go back onto that. The book of Isaiah, the 60th chapter, I believe it is. Isaiah 60 and 2, it says, Isaiah 60 and 1, it says, "Arise, shine, for thy light is come." What's that light? The word of the Most High being pushed forth out there. Okay, that's that light being put. That's that light that's come. Because for a long time you had it to where we lost our heritage. We know who we was. We thought we was African American. Okay, we thought we was, Hispanic. Okay, but now you got it to where the word being pushed out there. These different nations know. You have it to where you got people out there on YouTube. Okay, so-called white people out there on YouTube saying, "Look, I know I'm an Edomite and this, that, and the third, but these people are the people of the Lord." Now the person that put that video up he's probably a Jake. That's why he's got that conviction to do that video. But a hell of a lot of people are getting into the understanding of who their nationality is, and as a result, they know that we're gonna see it within the scriptures. They're gonna find out that a lot of these, some of these nations, if they're some nations were created as vessels unto honor, and other nations were created as vessels unto destruction. And the house of Esau, the nation of the Edomites, was created to be destroyed. We're gonna see that within the scriptures as we go along. Okay, so this is back within the book of Jeremiah 60 and 1. It says, "Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee." Okay, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. Okay, and the Lord and the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. Now that's really talking about. Now really, when you go into that scripture, that's really talking about the Most High raising up the 12 tribes of Israel and the word being shown forth out there. Okay, because I believe, okay, if you go into the 25th chapter and the 7th verse, it really goes on to the point that I want. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Isaiah 25:7 says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Okay, and that's the veil of being called white, okay, black, okay, European. That's a veil. Okay, you go into the scriptures, there ain't no white, black, European. But you find out the Edomites was going to be destroyed. You're going to find out that there's a nation called the Israelites, and the Israelites was going to rule after that rulership of the wicked, which was the rule by the Edomites. That's within the book of 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter. Okay, let's get that right quick. 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter. Okay, and the 9th verse. Okay, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Okay, so 2nd Ezra 6 and 8 says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand, okay, held first the heel of Esau. So here it is, we're in the book of 2nd Ezra, okay, during the time of the return, probably written during the time of the return of the Israelites after the Babylonian captivity, okay, being released by the decree of Cyrus the Great, the king of the Medes and the Persians, okay, and this is happening centuries and centuries after you had it to where the story on Jacob was written. So why is it this story is coming back forth and again and again? Okay, and why is the man Ezra, okay, all the way out there into the future, speaking about this time, this event that had happened, okay, with one of his forefathers? Because they had the understanding that one of these nations was going to rise up, okay, and they was going to rule the world, and